All right, why don't we get started? Cedric, can you see my the presentation? Did it come up?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Great. So good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Eduporium Spring 2022 webinar series. Our focus this season is going to be on innovative new technology that's out there, either replacing existing type of technology, augmenting it, or things you can use in the classroom. So we'd like to thank Cedric Vodell from RobotLAB today. And Cedric is going to take us through some exciting solutions he has in the virtual reality space and augmented reality called VR Expeditions 2.0. So he's going to walk us through that. And we'll make this very innovative, kind of interactive so that we move pretty quickly through it and respect your time. So I just wanted to take a second and explain who Eduporium is. Basically, our focus is to be a one-stop for educational technology for makerspace, school, after-school programs, K through 12, classrooms, colleges, and museums and things like that. So, and we're pleased that RobotLAB has joined us today. They're one of our key partners as we go through the new year. We offer, one of the things we really kind of pride ourselves is making sure that you talk with us on the phone or email to make sure that we're aligning the best technology to your educational vision or problem. And so we ensure that it gets used. I think one of the things we don't like to see in here is when people buy these technology and it goes in a closet, and we know there's a turnover with teachers and things like that. So we do want to kind of move that through. We do offer an educational discount for applicable educational organizations, and we are a certified minority business enterprise. We are headquartered out of Massachusetts. However, we do serve all 50 states in the United States. And the majority of our business, even though we do have an online store, is focused with purchase orders and things like that, working directly with schools and organizations. So once again, we want to thank you for joining today. And what I want to do is hand it back over to Cedric, and he's going to take us through the solution, VR Expeditions. Just a couple notes. We are taping this so that if someone has to drop off or what have you, you'll be able to see a copy. We will send out a follow-up email at the end and just following up any questions and things like that. If there's any questions, please put them in the chat and or Q&A, and we'll make sure they get answered during the flow of the conversation here. So with that, welcome, Cedric. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Paulo. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your welcoming message. Thank you to all the Eduporium team. You guys have been a great partner with us. We appreciate you taking the initiative of doing this webinar session. So I also obviously want to thank all the attendees today for your time and effort to join this session. So my goal is to make it quick and convincing. But before I jump into the presentation, let's introduce myself. And I'll share my screen here. Paulo, if you can just confirm that you see what I'm looking at.
I do see it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So again, my name is Cedric Vodell. I am the Vice President of Sales here at RobotLAB. So I lead all the sales operations in the US and also overseas. I have been working in the robotics space for 17 years, back in France, Paris, where I'm originally from. And I moved 12 years ago to the United States to join RobotLAB. So we are based in California, in San Francisco, and as I mentioned before, it's sunny weather out there, so it's beautiful. So best wishes to all the people that are experiencing some snow and cold weather. So again, RobotLAB, we are focusing on robotics and virtual reality. We are a company that has been founded in 2011. And we have a large footprint in the US in the VR and robotics space for education. So I've myself worked in the education space now for RobotLAB for now 6 years. So we are providing solutions that will make the equipment useful for the classroom. And what does it mean essentially is building on the top of the equipment that you're getting a methodology and lesson plans that really will engage even more your students. And for robotics, it will mean a learning management system that we put in place so that teachers can have easy access to content of any sort, so that the line lesson plans, curriculum, apps to load on the robots, tutorials, online tutorials, and things like that. And for VR, the lesson plans are essentially a software called Expeditions 2.0, and I'm going to dive into that in a second. So we are now working with more than 10,000 schools in North and Latin America, and we are working with many educators and students to also get feedback. It's super important for us to improve our solutions, essentially. So now let's double click into VR. So what do we do at RobotLAB in VR? So we have been a long-term partner of a company called Google. You might know this company, and you might know their software that they have been pushing into the market for education called RobotLAB Expeditions. So we've been working with them for the past 5 years now, or 6 years, and we became the largest partner of Google for RobotLAB Expeditions, which basically gave us the opportunity to know a little bit in advance Google's plan to sunset RobotLAB Expeditions. And basically, it gave us the opportunity to think about it and wonder how can we help school basically keep using this type of really great platform for VR. And so this is basically when Expeditions 2.0 started to be created. So we worked on the program for several months, almost a year, to come up with a solution that is essentially very similar to RobotLAB Expeditions. But on the top of that, we also obviously wanted to improve the software. And so based on the feedback that we got from the committee of schools that were already using RobotLAB Expeditions, we basically heard two main feedback. The first one was about the content. In terms of like lesson plans, a lot of schools were not like 100% convinced and satisfied from the content that was available on RobotLAB Expeditions. So that, number one, and I'll get to that in a second. And number two was also the quality and the resolution of the photos, the 360 panoramic images that students can look at when they put their goggles on. And that's also something that really we wanted to work on and improve. And again, I will get to that in a second. So the main idea for those who might not know much about VR and AR, it's essentially to create virtual experiences. Essentially with Expeditions 2.0, we are around virtual field trips, and to basically have students discovering the world without having to leave the classroom. And again, I wish I could have had this technology when I was younger, because it's really amazing. It's really engaging for students to be able to just dive into a new world where they can not only discover what they probably not have seen so far, but also boost their creativity, right? This is all about engagement and creativity here anyway. So we are lucky to have had already some awards to, obviously I don't want to brag about it, but I think it's also important to have some, recognition from the market about, what we are building, because we are putting a lot of effort into that. So that's always good to get great feedback. So we love it. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is that Expeditions 2.0 has been released 1.5 years ago. It's already tremendous, has a tremendous success. But our objective at RobotLAB is to keep adding new features, to keep adding more content to the platform. This is not a software that is, as is right now, is not going to evolve. It's something really that we want to evolve in the future with more tools accessible to the teachers and more content accessible to the students. So as of today, we have about 330 virtual field trips available. So I just added a quick a hyperlink here, so you can actually see here the list of expeditions that are available online. Can you Paulo, can you confirm that you see my web browser? Because I switched from my PowerPoint to my web browser.
I don't see that yet.
Oh, you don't see it? Just give me 1
I
second.
see expand students' knowledge.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Let's see here. I think that's good now. Okay.
Yep, a different scroll.
Cool. Yeah, so the list of expeditions are available on our website. So it's a long list. So I'm not going to go through all that, but I think it's a good way for you to kind of feel, what the content is about, and how much expeditions we have. So we already have 340 plus expeditions. We are obviously, our curriculum department is keep adding more lessons as I'm talking. So each, I would say, we have every 2 weeks, basically, we are loading more expeditions to it. And each expedition has actually on average 8 scenes. Which means that you do 8 scenes times 340 expeditions, and you realize that there is already tons of content available, which is very exciting. As you can see here on my webpage, I do also have a PDF icon below the description of the expedition. The PDF icon, and I will get back to it in a second, but it's super important, is actually part of what I was commenting before. The feedback that we got from the committee of schools already using Google Expeditions, we are complaining about the content of, and the, I would say the usefulness of the content of Google Expeditions for the classroom. And so that's the reason why right now for each expedition, we have a proper lesson plan. And it is extremely important. And you can see that for each expedition, you can actually download the PDF. And I'll get back to that later. So I'm going to switch back to my PowerPoint. All right. So now let's talk a little bit more about what Expeditions 2.0 is. What does it do? So first of all, the overview of the software, features, content, and lesson plans. Features first, and I will be able, after the slides, to give you a quick demo of the actual software loaded on my tablet, connected to my laptop. So you will be able to see the interface and how it looks like. But just really quickly, I want to emphasize on the main features of Expeditions 2.0. So first of all, at RobotLAB, we wanted to make it as user-friendly as possible, even more user-friendly than what Google Expeditions had. So you will see that in a second. It's extremely easy to use. It's pretty straightforward. Number two, the easiness of browsing content. So you can search by either keywords or by categories. So essentially what it is that all the expeditions are sorted by subjects, and you can browse the subjects available, click on the subject, and it will filter, and you will see the expeditions, for example, available for history. Okay. Classroom management is another feature which is essential when you run a VR class in front of 20 or 30 students. You want to know who's connected or not really quickly. So I will show that in a second after, but this is basically a way for you to quickly understand who's connected or not and then troubleshoot the students' goggles. The last feature that we released about 4 months ago, and this is an example of the new tools and features that we're adding to the platform. It's so creator. So that's essentially something that was already available on Google Expeditions and was not really yet on the first version of Expeditions 2.0 launched a year and a half ago. And Tool Creator, like for Google Expeditions, is essentially the opportunity for you students or even you teachers to create your own expeditions. So you can purchase from Eduporium an optional 360 camera, and then you can use this camera to record a 360 panoramic content photo and then load it into the program. This is about the main features of Expeditions 2.0. Moving to content. So as I was mentioning, tons of content, 360 or 250 expeditions. So it's overall a little bit less than a couple of thousand VR scenes. So we already have tons of content available. And something that I was mentioning, which is a big improvement to Google Expeditions, is that 100% of our content is HD resolution. Most of the content on Google Expeditions, so they had 1,150 expeditions, 85% of the content was coming from Google Street View. So it's good because it's a lot of content, but in terms of quality, it's not that great, especially in terms of user experience. And if you look at a picture that is blurry or pixelized, it's not that engaging, right? So this is why we really wanted to provide HD resolution content. One other thing that we did, like for Google Expeditions, is a help tool for the teachers. So let's say that you have your students traveling to Paris and you've never been to the Eiffel Tower. That's fine. You show the Eiffel Tower to your students, and you will always have on the left side of the screen a script to help you comment the scene if you need. Okay. Last part of feature content that we added actually recently too is the highlights. That's some feedback that we got from our communities, that they wanted also to be able to point at things, which is something that we added. So essentially what it is you're a teacher, you're commenting a scene, and you want to say, hey, students, look at the top of the Eiffel Tower. What is it used for? This big antenna. And so you point at the top of the Eiffel Tower, and the students will be able to see where you're pointing at, because obviously they all have their goggles on, so it's not easy to understand, what the teacher is talking about. So again, bringing more interactivity and easy communication between students and a teacher when all the students are actually looking at a virtual world.
Hey, Cedric, a question came up before you go into lesson plans, was whether or not people could access the list of expeditions and see some of the stuff that's behind there, I guess as a password protected website that you need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll be able to provide the list. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so the last thing really is the lesson plans. And as I was mentioning, there was another feedback we got from the community of Google Expedition users. So we really made the effort to create real lesson plans for the classroom. And the way to do it is because, we cannot do everything on our own. So we decided actually to partner with a company called Encyclopedia Britannica that help us create lesson plans for each and every expedition that we have in our program. And essentially, what's written here, printable students PDF, is essentially what I was showing you on the web browser. Each and every expedition can actually come, with a printable documents, handouts for the students, downloadable on the computer and printable, obviously. Okay, so this is an overview of Expeditions 2.0. For those who already have devices, that's totally fine. You can still load Expeditions 2.0 on your devices. And as of today, Expeditions 2.0 is compatible with the following devices that you see here on your screen. Any type of Android devices, version 7 and up, okay, for phones and tablets, number one. Number two is Pico G2 headsets. Those are standalone headsets coming with a remote control. So we are also compatible with Pico devices. We are also compatible with Lenovo devices. And we have two types of devices for Lenovo. The one on the right called Lenovo Mirage is actually a headset that was discontinued 3 years ago. It was a pretty expensive headset, and unfortunately some schools invested into this headset to use Google Expeditions. And now Google Expeditions is no longer available, and the Mirage Solo is discontinued. So that's not good. So we really wanted also to make the effort to make Expeditions 2.0 retro compatible with a Mirage, so that the money that you spend for this type of device can still be useful in your classroom. And we are also compatible with the new Lenovo headset called S3, which is, by the way, between you and I, a weight level product of the Pico. So when you're buying a Lenovo S3, you are essentially buying a Pico device with a stamp Lenovo on it. But that's exactly the same device. So that's about the compatibility of the devices. Now, you can have already devices, and so you will have to just purchase the licenses, or you don't have anything yet, and that's totally fine. And basically, we do have 3 different kits available to you. One is called RobotLAB VR Standard Kit. What RobotLAB VR Standard Kit is essentially a turnkey and pre-configured pack that includes everything that you need to run a VR class with Expeditions 2.0. So it comes with 10, 20, or 30 student devices. And basically, those devices are essentially a plastic viewer, like the one you will see on the PowerPoint, or the one I'm showing you here on the camera. Okay, that's a plastic viewer, and we are inserting for you Android phone on it. Okay. And then students can just grab the goggle and look around. So this is what it is. It's a plastic viewer with an Android VR compatible device. It also comes with a teacher device. It's essentially an Android tablet. It comes with a router, and it also comes with a transport case or a charging case. Actually, it's a mistake here. It's a charging cart. It's a mobile charging cart. Okay. So essentially what it means is that usually schools, when they buy 20 or more devices, they like to have a cart instead of cases that can be heavy to move around. So the idea here with the charging cart is that it's used to store the equipment and also to recharge the devices for a next day class. Now, I do have sometimes the question, why do you guys include a router in the kit? The router is essentially used to make your life easier, really. Because when we have to connect all the devices to the school network, it sometimes becomes very problematic because you need to involve the IT department. It takes time. We need to verify if it comply with the school policy. It can take also some bandwidth from the network, and we rely on an internet speed that can be good and sometimes cannot be good at all. So essentially, the router is meant to be used as a local network. So you won't need to connect the student devices to the school network. The router will essentially be used to broadcast information from the teacher's tablet to the student's device. So again, no need to connect your devices to the school network. The only time you will need to connect your device to the school network, it's only the tablet, the teacher tablet, when you want to load new expeditions. But that's it. Once you're done, you switch back your tablet to the router network and you're good to go. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. What do we call RobotLAB white glove services? It's essentially what I talked about. It's everything comes pre-configured and ready to use. And obviously each kit comes with the Expeditions 2.0 licenses. So this is the standard kit. If you want to go a little bit further, you can get the AR VR kit, which essentially is exactly the same configuration, okay, 10, 20, or 30 devices with a tablet for the teacher, with a router, with a transport case or a charging cart, and the Expeditions 2.0 licenses loaded. The main difference is that the phones that we are putting in the viewers has a stronger CPU, so they can also run AR content, okay? So those devices and this kit is AR and VR compatible, when the standard kit is only VR compatible. And obviously, because this AR VR kit uses more advanced phone, the price will be a little bit higher. Okay, but that's number two. Number three and last kit that we have available is called the advanced kit. So why is it advanced? It's because we are actually improving the user experience. How? We are not going to use plastic viewers and Android phones. We are going to use a standalone headset. So there is no phone inside. It's like having a mini computer on your head. You put the goggles on. The goggles have straps that you can put into your head. And the headset also comes with a controller. So essentially, the main differences between the advanced kits and the other kits are, number one, standalone headsets that provide 4K resolution. So obviously a better resolution, as well as a wider field of view. So essentially, this kit will offer a more immersive experience to the students. Number one. Number two, each student will get a controller, which also offer more interactivity with the virtual experiences. Other than that, it's all the same. It comes with a device for the teacher, a tablet again, a router, a case, or a charging cart, and the Expeditions 2.0 licenses. Okay. So I can jump right away into the demo of Expeditions 2.0. But just before that, is there any other question?
Yeah, there's one more that came up. Does the advanced kit support AR, augmented reality?
No, it does not. It's only VR.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to stop my slides, my PowerPoints, and I'm going to switch to the Expeditions 2.0 that I have loaded on the tablet. Okay, so my tablet is actually connected to my laptop, and I'm using a software called Visor to mirror my tablet. So don't be scared if the resolution is not that great, because it's the mirroring thing. But on my tablet, it looks great. So 1 second. Okay. Hello, can you confirm me that you guys can see my tablet?
I can see your tablet. Yep.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I'm using the Android tablet that is included in the kit. And if you already have an Android tablet, a V7 or plus, that's totally fine. And as you can see here on the top, you have the icon VR Expeditions 2.0. I'm going to click on it. And this is opening the program. And again, you will see it's extremely simple to use. No trick, I promise. So as you can see here, you have basically 3 sections. The one on the left is basically a navigation bar, and I'll get that in a second. The one in the center is basically the categories available. And on the right side, you have all the expeditions that you have loaded, okay? Pretty much it. So what you can do is you can either search by keyword. So that's on the top right. Okay. Or you can search by categories. Thank you. So you can search by subjects. Okay. And you can filter by subject. So here I'm in ancient world. I want to do some history. Okay. Etc. Etc. So here I'm browsing all the expeditions currently available with the program. For each expedition, I will have a picture, a title, the number of scenes included in this expedition, the grade level, and the subject that we are covering. Okay, there is a small description for each of the expedition, and the only thing I need to do basically is click on one. Okay, and here I have more information about ancient Egypt. I see here that there are 10 scenes, it's for all grades, and we are covering all these subjects. And here I see that you see that I have at the bottom the possibility to download the student handouts. And so I don't know if you see my camera here, I printed a few for you guys today, but this is the type of document that you can print for each and every expedition. Okay, so this is biomes. I have Australia here. Okay, so basically each scene for Australia will be documented. Okay, I have Argentina, I have Aztec and Mayan ruins, etc., etc. So what you see here also on the right is the scenes that are included with this expedition. And the only thing I have to do basically is click on one, the pyramids of Giza or the Sphinx, for example, and I will be able to broadcast this expedition of this scene, sorry, to the students. Okay. So on the top right, you see here, remove from downloads. So what it means basically is that I've already downloaded these expeditions from the cloud to my tablet. So they are physically installed on my tablet. So I don't need to connect to any internet network to run these scenes or these expeditions. Okay. And as a matter of fact, if I go back on the left in my navigation bar, I see if I click on downloaded expeditions, I can see here all the expeditions that I downloaded, which is kind of practical when you want to prepare your class. Okay, obviously you need to switch from the school network to the router, and you don't want to do that in the middle of the classroom. So what you'll do is you'll prepare your class and you will download in advance the expedition that you want to show your students. Okay, so I'm going to click on 9/11 Memorial here, and I'm going to click on the World Trade Center, ready, and here you go. So this is basically what students will see from their goggles. Okay. So right now I can see on the top that one student is connected through Wi-Fi. So I probably have one headset in my office that is connected to my network. But the idea obviously is to have 10, 20 or 30 students connected. And you remember what I told you about the highlights feature, which is basically a pointer. So if I want to ask my students, you know, I don't know, what is this used for? I don't know, I can just click here, select something here on the screen, point at it, and then click on send. And the students will see through their goggles like an icon, basically telling them what I'm pointing at. Okay. So if I click here on the middle section at the bottom, the play button, this is basically the button I need to push when I want to broadcast the scene. So right now, I'm still not broadcasting. Right now, I'm a teacher. I'm just looking at the expedition. I'm looking at the scene just before I broadcast it to my student goggles. If I want to broadcast it again, I just click on the play button. And then I can switch from scene to scene. If I want to stay in New York and if I want to have my students keep like moving from scene to scene, I can just easily click on the button that I have on my bottom right corner, next screen, okay, and it will load the next one, etc., etc. Okay. So unfortunately, it's lagging a little bit on your side because I rely on the Zoom speed, but I can tell you that on my tablet, it's super smooth. Okay? There is no lagging or no bouncing of the image. Okay, so that's really it. I mean, you know, I can search here an expedition. So I'm going to type Milky Way. Milky Way, click on Milky Way. Oops.
So Cedric, best practice would be download your expeditions that you wanted to have the class to your tablet.
Correct.
Right. And then review the teacher guides and things like that so that you're prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So there are tons of content, so we're not going to go through each and every scene, but essentially the last thing that I wanted to show you on the navigation bar is after downloaded expeditions, we have Browse My Tools. And what Browse My Tools are, it's basically Browse My Tools and My Downloaded Tools are actually tools or scenes that you are going to create. And this is part of the tool creator mode. So if you have a 360 camera, students will just, you know, take pictures of, you know, the school or park, you know, or whatever, and then load the content on the software. And this is basically where you'll be able to see the content that you created. So again, so this is a demo account, so I don't have much here, but this is how it works. Browse My Tools and My Downloaded Tools are the ones that I've created and that are installed on my tablet. Okay, so this is part of Tool Creator, those two. And the last one is essentially Students, which is the classroom management feature where I know who is connected. Okay, so if I have, again, a classroom of 20 students with 20 goggles, it's here very easy to see in a fraction of a second if there is any issue with the goggles that cannot connect. So obviously the red dot is student device that is not connected, and the blue dot are essentially students that are connected to the expeditions. So you want to see only blue dots here. So this is what it is. And I believe I have covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover. So do you guys have any question for me?
Let me see if there's any other questions. If I create a tour, I assume I can put in pins and write up for what students are seeing. Can they do that?
Sorry, if you create a tour, I'm sorry?
Yeah, if I create a tour, I assume I can put in pins and write up what students are seeing. Can they?
So you can point at things, but right now you cannot write on the expedition. You cannot write on the scene.
Yep.
You can use the pointer for a tour that has been created or for an existing tour, okay, that is preloaded with the software. But the adding text to the expeditions is not yet available, but that's something actually that we're working on.
Okay. And then another question was, can I share it out as a link so it's viewable on a computer without the goggles?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Okay. Are user-created tours shared in any kind of public library or accessible to other users if someone created a, something public?
Yeah, so that's actually also kind of like similar to the previous question. So the answer is no. And that's actually good questions because we are thinking about adding this feature maybe later this year because we have a lot of feedback from the community where they obviously want to create some kind of community where everybody can share their own creation. So that's something that we are thinking about.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And this may be a duplicate. Do the advanced kits allow AR as well? And I think we answered that they do, correct? The advanced kits?
No, they don't actually. No, they don't. So
they do not. They do not.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
they do not. The only kit that run AR content is the AR VR kit.
The AR VR kit.
The advanced kits only run VR content, and the main reason is that you don't have, you cannot see through the goggles, and there is no camera, so there is no way you can see through the goggles. Something that I actually forgot to mention is that the AR and VR kit. I can go back here to my presentation just in 1 second. Just want to make sure that everything is clear. So here, when you look at the AR VR content, it's also coming with selfie sticks, and selfie sticks are essentially used to run AR content. Why? Because when you want to run AR content, you will actually take the phone out of the goggles and put it on the selfie stick so that then you can move around in the classroom and look at the virtual 3D objects from different angles. This is what it is. And the reason why we don't want to do it with the goggles is that you imagine 20 students walking around in the classroom with the goggles on. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that could be. And then another question, and I think you kind of answered it before, but just curious, is where can the teacher, the leader of the tour, see where the kids are looking? I mean, you can do your viewer, but they can't see generically where they're looking with their headsets.
No, it's not possible right now with Expedition 2.0.
Cool. Any other questions out there that's come to mind? Well, if I'm just looking and see if there's any other ones there. Doesn't look like there's any other questions. I am going to put up a slide. I think one of the things Cedric talked about is he does have a capability of a demo trial. And if you'd like to try the product, what I'm going to do is put up an email that shows where I want, please send an email on what data we're looking at. So let me just kind of take a quick look at that and pull that up.
Yeah, so for the trial, just to finish on what you were saying, Paolo. So the trial is essentially like a 30 days trial license. And so if you already have devices, you can have access to a free trial for 30 days for one student account and one teacher account. Okay. And if you don't have devices yet, you can still, if you don't have devices yet, what is goggles, but if you do have an Android tablet, you can still install the trial on your tablet and kind of have this feel of how the software works.
Take a look at it, exactly. So I think everybody, and we'll put this out in an email. If you send an email to Palo@Eduporium and include the name of your demo user, your title, the school, the address, and your phone and email, I think that's everything we need, right, Cedric?
Correct. Yeah, that's what we need.
So I will send it out to everybody who's registered for the event so that you can have that. And if you're interested, just shoot us back an answer and we can help facilitate that demo so that you're set with that. And if there's any other questions or concerns or anything like that, or you want some clarification, I think one of the things, Cedric, if we could send out the expedition list, the VR expedition list of the different ones that are available,
Sure.
so that, because I know that request has come up from before. And maybe one sample student guide, teacher guide or whatever, so they can get an understanding of how, because I think one of the powers of Google Expedition was the ability to have things that you could talk from and things like that, which is going to be a key piece of this.
Sure.
Cool. Well, I guess we want to be respectful of your time. We want to thank you for joining today. We know it's a very tough couple of years that we've had as an educational environment, and we want to thank you. I'd like to thank you, Cedric, and the Eduporium team for joining today. And so we will send out a, we got one more question. Do you buy a license for each kid of 20? I think one of the things you want to clarify that on the licensing.
Yeah, sure. Good question. Thank you, Lisa. So really quickly, the way it works is you got a cost per teacher device and a cost per student device. Okay, so it depends on how many tablets you have and how many goggles you have. And that's how it works.
Now, Cedric, just to clarify, because if they are buying a new kit, it does include the teacher license and also the student license.
Everything is included.
So the only time yeah, go ahead.
No. The price of the software I'm commenting is only for schools that already have devices that already purchased a kit in the past and now don't have access to Google Expeditions no more, obviously. And I want to load, I want to use the new Expeditions 2.0, so you can get the licenses. And again, it's one license per teacher device and one license per student device.
Got it. And one of the things that's important as a company, Eduporium, one of the things we do is we don't just select any product that's out there. We have taken a look at the VR Expedition 2.0 solution. We feel it's an excellent product for looking at a Google Expedition replacement. And so it really fundamentally, we think, can help level the playing field in regards to kind of making sure that people get access to VR Expedition.
Yeah,
one last, I think another question came up in regards to, and I know you and I have had this conversation in regards to, as additional content comes out, how do you play in regards to, is there any additional cost, whether it's on the kits or on the licenses in regards to getting new content, getting new features as you add them?
Yeah, very good question. Thank you, Gordy, for asking. We at RobotLAB decided not to do subscription because we know that it can be very difficult for school to know if they're going to get even a budget next year to finance it. So the way that it works basically is that you are buying a license that is permanent. So it's a one-time fee, you get it, it's yours, and you will get access to any new expeditions or new features released with the software.
And we've seen that, where you guys have been adding functionality and also adding the expeditions as the year goes on.
Yes. Amy, that's your question. So if a campus still has their goggles expedition set, can the teacher broadcast your expeditions to the set of 20 using your trial license? Technically, yes, but we only offer for the trial one student free license and one teacher license. Essentially, the trial is for you to test the content, less to run a real experience in the classroom. So once you buy the licenses, yes, it will work with your current Google Expeditions kits, but for the trial, okay. One last thing also I want to clarify, it would be good if you already have a Google Expeditions kit to tell the Eduporium team when you purchase these kits. Because if it's a while back, and especially if it has been bought from Best Buy, it might not be like a very performing router. And so in that case, we might need to do a replacement of the router. So usually, if you purchase your kit after on 2018 and after, totally fine. Before 2018, we need to check the model of the router that you're using.
Good point. Thank you for sharing that. Last call for any other questions. We love these questions and they're clarifying for everybody here. All right, looks like nothing else is coming up. So Cedric, once again, thank you very much for your time. To everybody, we will send out a copy of the expedition list, and we'll also send out any other documentation that Cedric has that he was sharing. And feel free, we'll send out an email where to send that request if you're interested in the demo trial, which is a trial. So from that. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, all.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.